Hey everybody, today we are playing Truffle Shuffle from AEG, and we recently went to our game store today and we picked it up because we were super excited about it and we want to show our support to a game store during these times because we need them.
We do.
We still need friendly local game stores.
So we picked up a copy of Truffle Shuffle, which I was very pleased was only $20. And then we also picked up a copy of Deep Vents, another Ryan Lucat game. And
because we enjoyed Rome so much.
We did really enjoy Rome quite a bit. I think that's our only, well now it's we have two Red Raven games.
Yes.
So yeah, we picked up a couple of games. We picked up the latest Game Trade magazine, which is a fantastic publication. It's a monthly publication put out by Game Trade Media, and they talk about like all of the upcoming games or recent releases. And this is a really, really wonderful way to sort of keep abreast of everything that's coming out, everything that's recently been released. It's really, really good for that. But that also makes it dangerous because then I want stuff.
Yeah, you want some things.
So anyway, we went to the store, we picked those items up. We're going to give Truffle Shuffle a try for the first time. I really love the theme. The artwork is really cute. And it seems like it will be fairly easy, but it has some mechanics that we're familiar with that we like in other games. So hopefully it'll be a hit for us.
Yeah, I saw this, and Sarah was like, what about this game? And I looked at it, and I noticed the card formation that they did. It was a lot like Seven Wonders Duel. I really enjoyed that in Seven Wonders Duel, and so I saw this, and I think it got like, what, 7.5? 7? It was in the 7s.
I don't think it got a 7.5, but it was in the 7s.
I think that was a Deep Fence.
Deep Fence got a 7.5.
7.5. So it was in the 7s, so that's a high rating on our end. So we'll see how we like it. Can't always go by the BGG ratings, but they are pretty darn good. Some games.
Well, we know if it's at least a 7, then if we were attracted to it for any other reason, then if it's at least a 7, that we know that it's probably not garbage, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes we're really attracted to a game and it's less than a 7, and it makes us think, okay, is this really something that we
do a little more research on it, try
exactly.
to find some videos.
But if we know it's at least a 7, then we know that it's probably
there's some
not.
merit.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not always the case with some of those games. Sometimes the game's rated highly, and we are like, this is not for us. And sometimes the game is rated like on a low scale. If now we don't go below like a 5. Like even in 5 territory, it has to be something we've played before and we want for our own collection. It has to really be something we want because that's
usually
just too
no
low.
matter how much we're attracted to it, if it's like below a 6, we're usually like, well, we're just going to leave that here then. Because if like I said, if we're really, really attracted to it, but we don't know anything about it other than like, what's on the box and things like that, if we look it up on BGG and it's less than a 6, we're usually like, it doesn't matter what it looks like on the box or, that kind of thing. If it's less than a 6, then probably it's not something that we are going to be happy that we spent our money on.
Yeah.
But not all the games in our collection that we really enjoy are 7s or above.
Yeah.
So sometimes that doesn't always hold true. But in this particular case, it was at least a 7, I think.
Yep.
And so I like the theme. I like the design team behind this one. That's the same design team that did Point Salad. It's the same studio that put out Calico, which wasn't my favorite, especially at lower player counts, but
it's pretty good at higher. You got at least do 3, I think, for that game.
Yeah. If you play with higher player counts, it's not that bad. And then it's also AEG, which they've put out some pretty solid games. So we're willing to try it. We're willing to see, and hopefully it's good.
Yeah, so we'll come back. There's 3 rounds?
3 rounds.
So it's 3 rounds, and 1 round is going through this whole like kind of pyramid of cards, and then you'll go and do another round, set up another one, And on your turn, you're just picking a card or playing a card's ability. There are some skips that will allow you to skip your turn, then draw 3 cards, or there'll be some cards that you can play and take 2 cards. So we'll come back maybe like halfway through our second round. Yeah, so toodles. So we're in our second round of Truffle Shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a reference to the Goonies.
No.
Yeah. So what do you think so far?
It's interesting. You are collecting cards to attempt to make boxes of truffles. And depending on how you put your truffles together in a box, you can score points different ways. So it's really simple. On your turn, you either take a card or you play a card, which is going to let you skip your current turn, but take more cards on your next turn. So we're collecting these truffles and we're trying to sort them into these boxes to try to score the most points. After you've either taken a card or played a card to take extra cards, you can put together a box of truffles. And there's a bunch of different ways that you can put truffle boxes together. You could do like a truffle of each color, or you could do like truffles that have a value that goes in as straight, right? So I could do like a truffle of a value 1, a truffle value 2, truffle value 3, etc. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can put your truffle boxes together. And once per turn, if you haven't skipped your turn, you can put together a box of truffles and sell them. And the more complex your box of truffles, the more money that you'll get for it. So it's played over 3 rounds. Each round starts with the cards in a sort of tableau like this, and the round ends when the last card is picked up from the tableau. At that point, players can keep the number of players in the game, that number of cards. So we're playing a 2-player game. So at the end of the last round, we could keep 2 cards. And then we start the next round and we play 3 rounds. And at the end of 3 rounds, whoever has the most money wins.
Awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and play these next couple rounds and get back to you guys when we are done with the game. And we'll tell you who won, who lost, and what we think about it. About the Truffle Shuffle. And we're using the almighty bit bowl.
Look at this giantly obnoxious thing.
No, she like it.
It's a little crazy.
No, it's not. It's glorious. It's glorious. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. All right, we'll be back to you all in a bit. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
The Truffle Shuffle Queen. Because
I like truffles, what can I say?
Hey now. You got what, 85?
83 points,
83 points, and I had 75, so you got the lead on me. But even though you are the winner, you did not really like this one.
Not really.
No.
It's kind of boring. It's 3 rounds. You play through 3 rounds, and like through most of the second round and all of the third round, I was just done. Just wanted to be finished with it because I wasn't having very much fun.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of like specialty cards. So this is like, skip my turn.
But I think they did a good job not having too many of those.
Yeah, but maybe
if there were more,
a few more.
I don't know. I feel like there was a good amount of those because it felt like they were there sometimes, and it was like a nice little treat every now and then. But it didn't change up the strategies or disrupt your strategy because it was popping up often. Yeah. So I think they actually did a good job with the number.
So with this shows you there's a purple, pink, orange, and green like card base for the truffles. And then I don't know what the math is of having them, how many are in each color, because also you have the duplicates, any number, and rainbow cards sprinkled out with other, in other cards. So sometimes it would be a surprise. You'd pick up something like, ooh, that's nice. Or you would, get something because you would be able to force your opponent to give it to you. And because you had to, you have to take a card, and in these pyramid games, you can kind of be like, well, if I take this card, they take that card, and it'll get me like a good card. So I was trying to fight for it. It's kind of a filler game, but even then, I mean, it's just a really light game.
It is light. That's honestly though, that's not really my problem with it because there are some good filler.
Well, yeah, there's
games
some
that
good
I
filler
really
games,
like.
but I mean, this one's light. This one is kind of like we played Clear for Takeoff, and it was kind of like you're on autopilot. And with this one, you're not as much on autopilot, but you're God bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you.
But it's still.
I like I said, I was pretty bored. About halfway through the game, I was just kind of bored. And I think that with more players, it might be better. It's 2 to 4 players, so with 3 or 4 players, 2 things would become true. One would be that you could hold more cards in hand in between turns, so it would be easier to make bigger sets in future rounds. And then the second thing that would be true is that it would go faster.
Yeah.
And I think if I think either one of those things would be an improvement, and both of them would be like a significant improvement.
Now, do you think it would have been an improvement? So it was basically like a tower formation. Each round was the same formation, and it used all the cards. Do you think it'd be a little more interesting if the formations changed?
I actually thought about that when I was reading through the rules because it specifically says in the rules that you have exactly enough cards to play all 3 rounds and that there are no extra cards. And I was like, that's an interesting design choice because by not including any extra cards, they're theoretically limiting the replayability a little bit. But that being said, you put out these rows of cards and you play with quite a few every round. And that configuration of cards, just because you shuffle and place them out differently every round, is already going to provide like a significant amount of replayability. Having extra cards, I don't think. I mean, if you did the math and you really extrapolated it out, maybe you'd get a little bit more replayability out of it, but only at like very, very high levels of play anyway. If you're gonna only play this every once in a while, or fewer than a few hundred times, probably that's not going to make much of a difference. So at first I was like, I wonder why they didn't choose to include additional content so that would seemingly increase the replayability. But then as I was thinking about it, I was like, really to have that effect, like I said, you'd have to play it like a lot.
Now, an interesting thing is, do you think an expansion could really help it? Do you think there could be something to kind of spice it up? Because
probably yes, especially because I can already imagine several different things that they could do with expansion content for this game. However, because I was already bored by the base game at 2 players, I would say like I probably wouldn't bother with it if there was an expansion for it. But like I also said previously, I really, really think that this would significantly improve for me at higher player counts because that would decrease the amount of time it took to play, and it would also let you have a little bit more strategic input, I guess, in the game going from round to round. So I think that the game will be better at a higher player count, and if it were better, I don't think that I would even be thinking like this isn't good enough and I want something more, which would lead you to thinking about whether or not you want an expansion for it or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they could easily incorporate expansion content to this, but I think if you played at higher player counts, it probably wouldn't be necessary, especially because like we said, this is just sort of a filler. And
so like 3, even 4 players would be flying. I'm pretty
probably,
sure. I mean, like
yeah.
it would be less.
The box time is 15 to 30 minutes. And I would say if you had 4 players who really knew what they were doing, you could probably knock this out in 15, 20 minutes or so. And that to me seems like it would be much more fun. I don't know how long it took us. Probably not long, maybe 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But it did sort of outstay its welcome for me. So if it was faster, then probably it would have been more fun, or it would have been fun for longer.
Now, something we could do, this is, next time we play, or maybe even a time that we feel like doing like something a little crazy and spontaneous, is so there's enough cards for all 3 rounds. Why not set up all 3 rounds? Like, have 3 triangles, and you start from the bottom, and then you work your way up. and it would take a lot of of the table, and you'd have to have a table for that. But I mean, I think that'd be kind of interesting, kind of cool. Like you'd really have to start thinking about your turns, because then you could kind of okay, what cards do I want to keep? What cards do I want to get rid of?
I agree with you.
But you shouldn't have to.
I feel like if you're already searching for ways to
spice it
change
up.
the game, to change the game or make improvements on it or things like that, then probably it's, maybe not for you, or maybe there's a design issue. I don't think there is a design issue in this one. I do think they should have adjusted the player count to be 3 or 4 players, not 2.
Because 2 players is just kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's
like I said, it's just kind of boring.
Yeah.
It overstated welcome by a round and a half for me, which is 50% of the game. So, so I think that it's cute. The artwork is really nice. I love the box. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but they've got this sort of metallic shine to some of the the lettering and stuff like that. And so the presentation here is really nice. The cards themselves are a little basic, but it's cute overall. Definitely made me want chocolate.
Can we show you your chocolate preference of choice?
So these are Cadbury mini eggs, and it is September, and I have such an addiction to these that after Easter, which is when these come out, after Easter they all go on sale clearance, and I
buy them all up.
Buy as many of them as I can get my hands on, because I love these so much. And throughout the year, I will sporadically open a bag if I am really, really craving them. But this was my last bag. So this has got to last me until the spring, when they come out with next year's Cadbury mini eggs. And it is a large bag, but it will probably only last me through until maybe the new year.
Oh.
But I really, really wanted to have them. And when I was looking at the chocolate cards or the truffle cards in this game, I was like,
candy.
I need chocolate.
Candy.
This is the best chocolate. I actually had never had a Cadbury egg. The entire time I was growing up, we never had Cadbury eggs. And I had one for the first time in my late 20s. And the first time I had one, I was like, what is this? What is this sweet, sweet cocaine? And I've been hooked ever since. I swear they put drugs in the hard candy shell, because these are very addictive.
Just another. Ooh, piece of candy.
My last bag. I have to make it last as long as possible. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was Truffle Shuffle by AEG, and we will talk to you guys later. Toodles.